Hey guys, how's it going? So the new ATF pistol ban, brace rule, reclarification, rule, but law, but only Congress makes law, but has the full force and effective law, but alters the law. Yeah, that thing. It's here. And this is going to affect millions of gun owners. Law-abiding gun owners. And I would note, criminals don't follow laws. So this, as with all gun control, only affects the law-abiding by sheer definition. So there's a lot to this, guys. I've skimmed as fast as I could, 293 pages. But I am going to be doing a live stream today on this channel talking about more of the finer points of this. So make sure you're subscribed with the notifications turned on. And we're going to dig much deeper into this live on this channel today. So it says, for immediate release, this is a press release put out on the Department of Justice's website. And it starts by saying, today, the Department of Justice announced it has submitted to the Federal Register the stabilizing braces final rule. These are the pistol braces, which makes clear when manufacturers, dealers, and individuals use stabilizing braces to convert pistols into rifles with a barrel of less than 16 inches, commonly referred to as short-barreled rifles. So they're going to reclassify by rule, and they're actually changing definitions in federal statute to convert most stabilizing brace pistols into SBRs, NFA items, tax stamp items, and all of the restrictions that go along with that. I'm going to skip down a little bit here. Want to keep this video short for those of you that don't have time for a super long live stream. I'm going to dig into it much more later. It says the rule goes into effect on the date of publication in the Federal Register. So they've sent it to the Federal Register today, which is Friday the 13th. Yeah, it's Friday the 13th. You literally can't even make this stuff up. And from what I understand, the soonest the Federal Register will be able to publish it is Monday, maybe later than that, but plan on Monday, this actually going into effect. The rule allows for a 120-day period for manufacturers, dealers, and individuals to register tax-free any existing NFA short-barreled rifles covered by the rule. Other options include removing the stabilizing brace to return the firearm to a pistol or surrendering covered short-barreled rifles to ATF. Nothing in this rule bans stabilizing braces or use of stabilizing braces on pistols. So they're saying this isn't a ban, it's just going to make it a short-barreled rifle. You will be able to register with the NFA during this 120-day period tax-free, but it would still be subject to all of the provisions of the National Firearms Act, meaning it's a registry. It's literally registered. Well, we know registration always has led to confiscation, so there's that. Also, the restriction of not being able to cross state lines with it without requesting in writing a permission slip, if you will. Also, extra scrutiny, subject to possible inspections, breaches of privacy, things like that when it comes to owning National Firearms Act tax-stamped items. I'm going to go to the second part, which is kind of a preamble to the rule itself. And then I'm going to cite a couple things from the rule, the meat and potatoes, where it changed a little bit from the notice of proposed rulemaking. And there's going to be a couple key differences there, how they are going to define whether the pistol is still a braced pistol or whether it is indeed, according to them, a short-barreled rifle. It says, the rule does not affect stabilizing braces that are objectively designed and intended as stabilizing brace by use of individuals with disabilities and not for shouldering the weapon as a rifle. Such stabilizing braces are designed to conform to the arm and not as a buttstock. However, if the firearm with the stabilizing brace is a short-barreled rifle, it needs to be registered within 120 days from the date of publication in the Federal Register. Couple questions that are going to come up right now, guys, and I'm going to read the new ways that they are going to define it, whether it's a braced pistol or a short-barreled rifle. And unfortunately, I can't give legal advice. I'm just a regular guy like the rest of you, but I'm going to make a couple guesses right now, and you guys can chime in the comments what you think is going to happen. So, as of right now, this has been sent to the Federal Register and it's been announced by the ATF. This is right now when I'm watching this video. If you're watching this video in a couple days, obviously it won't qualify as right now. I'm saying that because people will watch this a year from now and say, well, hold on a minute. No, this is right now at a little bit after 5 p.m. on the 13th of January 2023. It has not been published to the Federal Register yet. So one could assume that you could still get a braced pistol right now. As soon as it's published to the Federal Register, that could immediately change. If you were to order a braced pistol right now from online, you probably won't get it to your local FFL before it's published to the Federal Register. I don't know if you'll be prohibited from buying braced pistols during this 120-day period or not. However, since I don't know and I'm not a lawyer, probably a lot of your local FFLs aren't going to know, as they are also not lawyers, and many of them don't have lawyers on retainer and aren't going to spend thousands of dollars to have a lawyer deep dive this 293-page document and look at all the applicable statutes and case law and all of that. So if I had to guess, and this is just me guessing, it could be a touchy situation where some FFLs might refuse to transfer it to you once this brace rule, once they find out about it, or once it's published in the Federal Register. Just food for thought. I'm not telling you guys what to buy, when to buy it. In fact, when it comes to this free tax stamp, I'm not doing anything right now. Okay? And I'm also going to be very clear. I'm not encouraging anybody to violate federal law here. That's not my intention. But it says there's a 120-day period for individuals to register tax-free. Look, I have up to 120 days from the date it's published to decide. So reserving the right to register it, if I want to, I'm not registering anything right now because of several reasons. First of all, I believe this rule is unconstitutional. Now, the National Firearms Act and the GCA are also unconstitutional because they violate the supreme law of the land, which says shall not be infringed. And I agree with that. That notwithstanding, that was a congressionally passed law, the Gun Control Act. So was the National Firearms Act. ATF is not Congress. And in my opinion, by the plain reading of what I'm about to read you here, they're literally amending federal law, changing federal law, aka creating law within a law enforcement agency that works under the executive branch. Yeah, there's big constitutional problems with this. There's many organizations that right now, as fast as they can, are getting their lawsuits ready. Could there be an injunction on this or a temporary restraining order on this? Yes, absolutely. And in my opinion only, just noticing how things have been going, this could be stopped or at least temporarily paused. So I'm waiting to see what happens in the courts during that 120-day period. Reserving my right to register it if I want to. I'm not telling you guys I'm registering my stuff, guys. And I'm not suggesting that you do either. I'm just telling you, I'm not running out and trying to register this and get a free tax stamp. The whole thing sounds like a trap. I'm not rushing out to do that right now. I'm waiting to see what happens in our judicial system because we have 3 branches of government. And the Constitution literally says Congress makes law, not the ATF. Well, when there's a conflict with this, we have the judicial system. And we have had court cases like the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals with bump stocks, the New York Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin in the Supreme Court. We have courts shooting down New York's laws. We have something going on in Texas right now that could drastically change the National Firearm Act with suppressors and silencers that are made in Texas. There's lots of stuff going on in the courts, and they just now are able to file the court cases with this pistol brace rule. I'm sitting back for a while and seeing how the legal process plays out. You guys do whatever you want, but that's the decision I'm comfortable with. I'm not turning in anything. I'm not destroying anything. I'm not registering anything right now. We need our judicial system to come through and strike down this unconstitutional rule, in my opinion. So whether your pistol is going to remain a pistol and a braced pistol designed to be braced rather than becoming a short-barreled rifle, that's what a lot of you want to know. And I'm going to talk about this a lot more. This video is already running long. I'm going to go this as fast as I can. In the notice of proposed rulemaking, the NPRM, it said there was going to be a worksheet number 4999. This worksheet made things like clear as mud and had so many problems and flaws in it, it wasn't even funny. I don't know if this is good news or bad news. It just is news that they have gotten rid of the 4999 worksheet. There's no more worksheet. Instead, they're changing meaning of terms, and this is the way I'm reading it, them changing the meaning of terms for a federal statute that was passed by Congress. This is the part where I'm talking about, in my opinion, the ATF writing laws now. Rifle, number 1. So this is the new meaning of terms. For purposes of this definition, the term designed or redesigned, made or remade, and intended to be fired from the shoulder shall include a weapon that is equipped with an accessory, component, or other relevant attachment. Example, a stabilizing brace that provides surface area that allows the weapon to be fired from the shoulder, provided other factors, as described in paragraph 2, indicate the weapon is designed, made, and intended to be fired from the shoulder. So here's these criteria. Number 2, when a weapon provides surface area that allows the weapon to be fired from the shoulder, the following factors shall also be considered in determining whether the weapon is designed, made, and intended to be fired from the shoulder. The first one, whether the weapon has a weight or length consistent with the weight or length of similarly designed rifles. They have a whole chart in this document that for your reference. Number 2, whether the weapon has a length of pull measured from the center of the trigger to the center of the shoulder stock or rearward accessory. Keeping in mind, braces are now going to be considered stocks in some cases with this rule. Component or attachment, including an adjustable or telescoping attachment with the ability to lock into various positions along a buffer tube, receiver extension, or other attachment method that is consistent with similarly designed rifles. So real quick, an adjustable stocked AR rifle, they would take the length of pull with the stock. They would take the maybe a brace, maybe a stock, measure the length of pull. If it's similar to the rifle, that would be a factor that would determine that your brace pistol is now a short-barreled rifle. The third one, whether the weapon is equipped with sights or scopes with an eye relief that require the weapon to be fired from the shoulder in order to be designed or used. So if you have the eye relief, or if you're holding out in front of you as a pistol, if you wouldn't be able to see through the scope, that could be a determinative factor to make it into a short-barreled rifle. 4, whether the surface area that allows the weapon to be fired from the shoulder is created by a buffer tube, receiver extension, or any other accessory, component, or other rearward attachment that is necessary for the cycle of operation. So I'm thinking of the AK real quick. It doesn't need a buffer tube to operate, whereas the AR does. So if you have fixed a buffer tube to allow you to use an SBA3 brace on your AK pistol, that's something that they're factoring in, that they're aware of, and that's going to count against you, if you will. Number 5, the manufacturer's direct and indirect marketing and promotional materials indicating the intended use of the weapon. So if the manufacturer is showing people shouldering a brace, that's a criteria. Here's where YouTubers come into play and just people in the public. Number 6, information demonstrating the likely use of the weapon in the general community. So if they're noticing people with a certain configuration shouldering braces like at local ranges, it could be on YouTube videos, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. If they become aware that the community is demonstrating the likelihood, then that could also be a factor. All right, there's a lot more than this. It's 293 pages long. No, they're not confiscating your brace right now, but you may have to. Within 120 days, assuming the courts don't step in, either remove your brace, destroy it, turn it in. I would note, I don't see anything on this cover page, and I'll have to dig deeper in the full document about just simply taking your pistol length barrel and legally increasing, like with a pin and weld, blind pin and weld. There's a procedure for that, to bring it up to 16 inches and then get the OAL over 26 inches or more. They didn't list that as an option right in the very beginning. Let me know what you think in the comments about that. Because when they said there's certain things that you could do to, quote, conform, I thought one of the obvious things you could do is just simply increase the length of your barrel and you'd be good. Maybe you can still do that, but they're not putting that right here on the cover letter. All right, guys, stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, not just to help the channel, but to help you get more information. And I'm going to be on here live streaming literally today and tonight. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and have a good one.